Hinduism is the oldest religion in the world. It dates back to the 25,000 years. It's a collection of wisdom teachings of thousands of sages and saints. And about 5,000 years ago, one of the sage, his name was Vyas, he compiled all these teachings in a book called Veda. It's the scriptures of the Hindu. And
Um, Tell us a little more about because we get a lot of Hinduism other from other things like such as Nirvana. We hear it as a rock band. We know it
right,
as a rock band.
right.
So
Yeah, the Nirvana word uh, means samadhi, meaning it's a higher state of your consciousness. It's a quality of your consciousness where you feel when Christ has said that I and my Father are one in heaven. That kind of experience is called nirvana. That kind of experience is called samadhi. Is when you realize who you are, one with the God, and that is what the nirvana word means.
um, what is the role? Because we get a lot of we also get yoga is another thing that
Right,
Hinduism affects our culture.
right. Yeah, yoga, meditation, all these uh, are very hands-on, practical uh, practices or the teachings that developed by the sages, and what they emphasize on how to live your daily life, because that is the purpose. The religion has to have a utility purpose of how to live daily life, and the word they use is called dharma, living your life based on the spiritual principles. And that is the reason that these traditions were kept for thousands of years, because of that reason.
Okay. Um, how does Hinduism affect Indian culture? You come from India.
Right. Yeah, this is my personal observation. I would say the Hinduism or the people in India and people in Asia in general, they are focused on God. They are focused on spirituality. They are focused on realizing who you are. However, in general, the Western culture is focused on mighty dollar, and everything is evaluated based on how much money you have. Whereas it's completely opposite. In India, you really don't have to have money. It's nice to have, but to live your life, if you have a spiritual aspiration, you really don't need money. The money will be provided, the food will be provided, everything will be provided, as long as you have that aspirations. Those are called monastery or ashrams, where people can go and dedicate their life for their own sadhana or meditation or service for the society. And so in that sense, I would say, it's a big contrast to me. Someone has to feel that or visit countries like India to see that firsthand. That will jump out at you immediately.
That's very interesting. Um, what are some common misconceptions about Hinduism? Because
Yeah,
there are many common misconceptions about all different religions.
right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. There are many different things that people don't understand, and as we all know, more people have died in the name of religion, um, and not realizing the deeper spiritual meanings of the scriptures. And one of the common conceptions is is about many gods in Hinduism. The gods for Hindus, the god for Christians, the god for Jews, God for Buddhists cannot be two. By definition, if God is God, it has to be one. And so this is the one misconception is that my God is better than your God. It's like my dad can beat up your dad kind of mentality. and and so one should not say that. And the other is Hindus looks at through these experiences of the sages and saints for many thousands of years, is they have realized this truth that everything is one. Everything is one. And what is above because of that, because the sages and because one can experience this oneness, is different aspects of gods are worshipped. Not that we worship that stone. Stone is a statue, is a representative of that divine. And so, for example, to me personally, the Divine Mother, the God in the mother aspects appeals to me because I feel I'm more close to my mother. And I will give you guarantee that most of the people are more close to their mother than the father. So, so these different aspects of divinity are worship, and when people don't realize, they don't, understand naturally.
They think of it more as more than one god
One
than
God, yeah. So that's a one point. The other point is is that just as in the material universe there is a hierarchy, in the spiritual universe also. There are higher forces. It's not that there are many gods, but just as in a corporation there are vice president and different managers have different specific tasks, similarly in this universe, this with billions and billions of galaxies, there are specific forces and energies assigned specific tasks, and that is, you can invoke those energy, you can invoke their blessings, so to say.
It's very interesting. There's one question that's usually on people's minds when talking to someone of a different religion. Most people in the United States, or a greater majority, are of Christian belief. What does it feel like being of a religious minority?
Ali, I really don't feel being a minority because I feel the oneness. I feel, I can, not that I'm a great or anything, but, I personally don't feel that. If someone says something, say negative from their limited ignorance perspective, in my opinion, then I usually don't discuss that and say, yeah, maybe you are right, and just leave it there. However, if there are majority of the people are open and willing to listen, then I do share with them. As a matter of fact, after 9/11, there is more awareness in America, and there is more discussion in trying to understand different faith. And so I really don't personally feel that way.
You don't feel that you are,
Yeah, that, yeah, that,
that everyone is or everyone is of one religion.
right, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I used to live in Tennessee, and you can imagine the Bible Belt.
Oh,
People would have, the Oregon is nothing compared to some of the southern state. Uh, but the best thing to do is to not to discuss. If you know he has his own idea, then it's okay. I think it's
yeah.
okay.
In what ways do you feel that the culture of Hinduism is reflected in our culture, in Western civilization? We talked earlier about nirvana and yoga, but there's karma, and the word
Right.
guru is brought over.
Right, yeah, yeah. There are many words and many uh, awareness. There is a spiritual hunger. The religion, to me, is just like a frame. Religion is very limited. The real spirituality is you have to get outside that frame, and so this so-called spiritual truth are like a law of physics. The law is law. It doesn't matter. These are spiritual law, and so these practices of yoga and meditations are very practical in the sense that it can help one, and so there is a spiritual hunger out there, and the church, in my opinion, can offer very limited guidance. And the traditions in Hinduism is with this guru who is a spiritual teacher, who can give you, individual guidance in how to grow spiritually. Again, so it depends on the individual's interest. And for example, there are more people are vegetarian. The Hindus are vegetarian is because we look at all life as a sacred. The life
Sacred
is
body.
right. So everything is one, and based on that oneness principle, Hindus are vegetarian, um, and so and so you know, many of those kind of subtle effects are there. Um,
They have spread out
right,
culture.
right. So
Okay. Thank you for joining us. And thank you for watching. Please join us again when we continue to explore our understanding of the world around us with interesting guests from throughout our community. For Academy Spotlight, I'm Allie Wright.
This program is being provided by the 15 members of the Vancouver Educational Telecommunications Consortium, TV, etc.